We're going to talk about certain areas that the football club has had some issues. Okay, one of the areas that we are going to talk about is going to be called the idea of. Hold on, let me just get to that one. Okay, one of the areas we're looking at is going to be. So you've got something called data security, which is a major area, and we can say that there are hackers that have done certain activities in the past. Okay, things that has happened in the past include the following. Okay, the hackers have basically done a cyber attack on ransomware. So you might get a ransomware on the information system. Okay, you might get a ransomware on the information system, and you might get also the other ways you can see is okay, you might have streaming platform. Yeah, these are all the things that affected. This one affected the stadium. Okay, these are all possible things that the hackers could do. Other issues that has come out is this one actually cancelled the game. Huh? So they almost cancelled the game because of ransomware attack on the company's turnstile. Now, other areas that was affected by this one was right, stole transfer money. Okay, those are all the possible issues that comes up. Now, because of the hackers and their possible action on the company, we did see something like this before in TT2U case study. Okay, TT4U, I think so. TT4U. Okay. TT4U case study is one of the case studies that has come out about a data company. Now, because this company has an information system, we just go touch base with that information system. Give me a second. We touch base with the information system. So do be aware that there was something called information system that we looked at. And when we say information system, here, internal information system adequate for purpose. So I did highlight the cyber security issue. That is being one of the area that I highlighted. And if you go online and research on football firms or football clubs, and you will find out quite a number got hit by cyber security issues. And that probably means that you have to think about how to protect the firm, but also not only that, you have to consider the following thing. Do we pay? do we pay for a threat? You may then have to evaluate whether it is correct to make the payment or not correct to make the payment, because you must remember you may want to avoid an incident. So this could be something to do with ethics sometimes. They could be ethical. Is it ethical to do this? Is it the right thing to do and hide the whole thing that you have lost all the data? Okay. And also, so that's one of the things. Now, the other area that you're supposed to be aware of is you need to also counter check against your technical articles to make sure that there are no issues in terms of technical ideas. And your examiner did write down a big one here. Cybersecurity and the strategic business leader. So it is highly possible you might get an article, or you might get similar for the TT4U case. Now, imagine in the TT4U case that you have a breach, and how you deal with the breach was a question that we saw. If you remember the case properly, let me just show you the case where that question is located so that you are aware of that answer. So I would suggest you just quickly review that answer specifically and see how that answer has come out. And over here, you're going to get that TT4U. So you might get, okay, possible questions here. Okay, remember there's that in prepare briefing for your next recommend how e-marketing could use to attract, retain clients. Well, you're not using clients here. It's more about maybe the viewers and all that. But the one that I would suggest you to be aware of is this one. Discuss the risk and ethical issues relating to paying off the this is communicating the threat to the client. Discuss the risk and ethical issues relating to the paying of the threat. Advise on actions TT4U can take to ensure that the controls on the confidentiality of data operate effectively. So this part of it, I would suggest you run through properly, because this is a very reasonable question. So TT4U answer should be there. Just skim through the answer and see whether you can get the points there, or just review this part of the answer to see how this has come out. So mark this one, TT4U. You're looking at discuss the risk of ethical issues relating to instead of saying communicating the threat of to the client, you're looking at the risk and ethics involved to paying the bribe, or not paying the bribe, paying the ransom that is being demanded. So there is a chance that you have a ransom that is being demanded, and you may need to pay that ransom off. And what are the factors that you should consider? Let's look at the implications for you if there is such a question. Okay, if there is such a question, let's make sure you know what's going on. If there is such a question, you do need to think about So we look at the ethical issues first. In terms of ethical issues, you may want to touch base with the, remember, there are some values placed by this company, and one of the things is basically we are looking at transparency of the listing, okay? Well, there's no guarantee criminals will keep to their word. You also need to be aware. Well, you got to understand that there is possible risk that comes up on this part. So there are payments and issues that come up that could cause a problem for the club. Now, let's do a quick analysis of what the article here says, okay. This is basically why you need this one, the value of data. Okay, what data is valuable in this club? So these are data that is valued in this company. So you may want to consider which data is in the information system. The next thing you need to be aware of is going to be cloud. Yeah, we have store and share. Okay, software is now so complex it's beyond scope of human to identify every possible weakness. Software uses average codes. Okay, so there could be backdoor in the system. Okay, that's one. You do need to have a good risk management. Okay, that is, the directors fail to engage the issue even though it's critical risk for organization. Therefore, you do need to have a proper cyber security. So subsequent examples specific interest board should consider. So here, do remember which manager is in charge of this issue. Marketing and IT director. So you might have some issues with customer acquisition. Got it? So you might have a software system backdoor. That's one. Okay, let's look at the next one. The next one was what? Now, when you write your answer, it's not going to run so far from what we are doing here. If you have a cybersecurity, you're probably going to use roughly the same headers because the examiner will not expect you to run too far away from this. Okay, I suppose your examiner will expect you to either answer one of this. Remember, there are 10 ideas here, and you need to be aware of this. So network security is the next one. You got one, risk management. You got network security. Right, the next one you got is going to be about user education and awareness. Okay, network only secure as weakest link, so authorized to access. Right, that's one. The other one here is this idea of malware. Okay, so here's your spyware ransomware. You may want to, by having a screening for infection. Okay, so anti-malware software. So that's all you need to know. So the other one that you have here is yeah, that's one. Removable disk. Okay, so here you can say that right, that should be one. We do have to think about secure configuration. Okay, unauthorized access. So this could be something that you don't need to be too worried about. Managing user privileges. Here that you can see circumvents corporate policy. Much of this would have been malicious. How many people have allowed someone else to log on to their password? So user privilege, culture. So this is all about culture. You got incident response. Okay, that's the last one. Okay, those are possible things that you can write for your answer here. This would relate to this case, okay. The last one you got here is how ACCA, what are the roles the CFO can take to ensure that there are no problems. There are 4 things the CFO should focus on, okay. Well, they don't have a CFO. What do they have? It's a finance director. So do be careful with the question. The question could ask you about possible cyber security issues that might impact you. If there is a possible cyber security issue, there are 2 ways the examiner can ask you on this part. The cyber security solution is, hold on, let me just write that down. You got cybersecurity, finance, and general. You got 2 types. All right. You got 2 types of solutions you should be aware of. Let me just highlight that again. You have 2. So your cybersecurity, you can be finance or general, and how to prevent general things, plus how to prevent, how the finance can try to stop this thing. So in terms of finance doing something, you can then say, look, this is what the finance says. As a cyber criminal become more sophisticated, report recommends zero trust model where all users' equipment are systematically verified before gaining access. Okay, this can be 2-step verification. Okay, that's 1. Zero trust model. Okay, that's zero trust. The next one you got is focus on recovery plan. So preventing cyber attacks is noble, but there is a plan in place if there is a recovery. So that's the recovery plan issue that you are looking at. Remember, that's the recovery plan. So if you get hacker attack, you do get hacker attack for this company. You do need to understand how the examiner is going to ask you. So audit your supply chain. Okay. So maybe this is quite important. Now, don't get confused. This one. IT vendors that AT is using and whether they had contributed to issues arising from them. Okay, that is for this case. So you may have to think about the supply chain issue, and of course, okay, insurance. Okay, you may want to pay. Okay, where it may be tempting to pay off a ransomware attacker. Such an action is likely to make an organization considerably more attractive to other attackers. So you do need to be aware of the need for insurance. Okay, that covers this idea of how you respond. Remember, there is a question. If the examiner asks you, there is one over here. This was written by the ACCA team, so you should remember this thing is possible for examination. It is possible simply because of the examiner looking at issues there. Now, I would say in terms of AI, machine learning, robotics, it's possible for the company to use this, but less so. Okay, retail industry, yes, if they talk about their retail industry, but other industries not so much. But maybe here, human resource. So how can the AI help you, or how the machine learning can help you? You may want to look at it. Robotics, definitely not. Okay, definitely not for this company. I would say that you should be aware of this issue. Okay, so you may want to think about how it can help in AT. AI could be useful That's one area you're looking at. Okay, I'll give you another example. Let me just give you one example here of one of the players' data that was being showed out, statistics. Okay, there was a bit of statistics being given out. Let me just see if I can find it. Okay, now what they can do is they can analyze the player's performance. Now, you don't need to be worried about the details of player performance, like how well they kick, how many chances they create, how many goals they created, all that. That's not so critical for this case, but you do need to think about it. So the AI could be used, remember the AI could be used for this area. Just be aware, the AI could be used for this area, but I've just highlighted that there could be some mistakes, okay? It could be bias also. Okay, that's one. Okay, that's so whenever you write anything about AI, you do need to talk about the possible ethical issues that the AI has also. So this is one. Okay, remember, we're not talking about robotics because I don't think robotics is important. I'm not even worried about machine learning here. I'm just worried about the human resource. There's one. Okay, the other one that you can see here is maybe, yeah, the biggest one is retail industry. Maybe you can talk about some kind of AI to assist AT in terms of okay, that's one. Okay, the AI could probably help you do some analysis there. That's probably some things that the AI can do for this one. So in terms of this article, this technical article here, we can say the examiner will probably not touch too much except maybe the use of AI. Okay, so that's this one here. Now remember, one day before the exam, the best thing you can do is always go through the technical articles one more time, because the examiner does like to test the technical articles. What are the other technology here? Okay, here, one other technology that you can do, okay, I'm not so worried about self-checkout and all that. Okay, self-checkout, that's one of the problems, but I'm not so worried about that one for this case. The other one, beacon. Okay, beacon technology might be very relevant for this entity because of the need to improve the process. Self-checkout is possible. Remember, self-checkout is possible, but let's talk about it first. Okay, you have retail outlets, you have one convenience store or one kind of food outlet. In the future, so you might have to consider a possibility. We're not so sure about this, but it can happen because a lot of the companies are considering the stadiums, and when they do an upgrade to the stadium, they are considering whether or not they should adjust the stadium in terms of their offering. You know, what can they offer? So one of the things they can do is maybe use certain technology or solutions in terms of the technology solutions here. So you got self-checkout, So in terms of self-checkout, have a look at this part. Um, Here they already say self-checkout is basically checkout shopping is free, but that's not going to be happening. Self-scanning, alternative to self-checkout. Self-scanning where customers use portable barcode. Okay, self-scanning does have some benefit, but the one that you need to know about self-checkout is rather than use a staff checkout, customer scans the barcode on the packaging item, places them on the weighing scale, and also this is very important for supermarket. Not very critical for this one, but you may discuss the advantage for maybe their food outlets, like reduced labor costs, space, maybe reduction of transmission of disease. Smart, your speed checkout might be faster, multilingual also possible, but the disadvantage is not designed for disabled, might emit loud repetitive message. Shoplifting is easier, inventory records might be corrupted. So those are the problems with the self-checkout, which is the one that you see already currently. Now, the one that I am thinking is this one. This one might be more relevant, beacon technology. So if you get a hit in the exam on beacon, you know, they are considering beacon technology, that's it. You probably will go like, I didn't study about it, I won't know about beacon technology. So in this case, beacon technology is just transmit Bluetooth signal to nearby smartphones. So maybe through Bluetooth you can get connected. So this one more potential for the stadium. Okay, there is more potential for the stadium. So let's look at it. Okay, that's one. You might use it as checkout. Okay. So you can talk about this being a technique. Okay, that's beacon technology. We're not also worried about store layout, but you can see routes can be taken to the store. Okay, locate items in the store. Customers can create digital shopping lists. That's not so critical. Beacons can connect customers in store, online simultaneously. Okay, you can then unlock an offer on social media. Beacon can notify shoppers in store event. Okay, what's the problems? Problem is obviously materials could be reflected. That one is blind spots. That's something you need to be aware of. Customer may perceive notification to be too pushy. They might turn them off permanently. That's another one. Beacon system is internet based, so can still be hacked and people can still access the customer database. Some customers find it intrusive and there is a privacy issue. Now, another technology we are going to be looking at is going to be chatbots. You can use chatbots to improve your performance. So let's use where can chatbots be used. Well, we do need to know about video streaming. Remember, one of the things you need to be aware of this company is they have prize money, they have match day, they have television, they have retail, they have sponsorship. As of now, they don't have their own channel and all that. So there is a potential for you to create this part. Just be aware. As of now, AT does not have their own video streaming. Okay, so those are things you can use: the kit, the seasonal tickets, the current tickets, and also, well, you got match day and retail. These are two important elements. So you need to know how to improve the retail. So the online sales could be improved. Well, the site will become more so that's one. I don't think you need to go through all the advantage, disadvantage of chatbot. Remember, cross-selling, yeah, you can probably put that in. The other things you can do is complete the purchase with a card on the file. Well, that's one thing. In-store assistant, if customer cannot find a product, you know, as retailer chatbot, that's one. But that's not important for this company because they're not going to find something like that. You don't need to worry about in-store. They can send automatic messages informing customers when home delivery will be taking place. Removing the need to wait. So that could be one of the things, okay? But remember, that's not so critical for this company because why? Nobody is waiting for these things. Remember, nobody is waiting for this thing, all right? Nobody is waiting for this, okay? That's something you should be aware of. So what else is there? Okay, let's look at this part. Okay, remember, you need to be aware that you don't need to inform you can tell the customer that there is a delivery and all that, but they're not going to be waiting for you to get it, because it's not like a bed or a TV or something like that where people will be waiting for it. So this is just the kit and the current ticket. So I don't think that's serious enough for you to have this thing. Okay, you got maybe customer service finding answer. Okay, again, I don't think you're going to have a lot of customer queries and issues being raised with the memorabilia or the kits being raised, and I don't think you're going to have a lot of issues here other than that. Customer satisfaction, AI, not so critical. So I would say the chatbot usage will be very minimum. Okay, the minimum. Beacon technology is higher chance. And then the idea of checkout, self-checkout could be something that the question can ask you. So if you get hit by the application of new technology, at least you know this one. Last one that you have there is going to be about this one here. Have a look at this part. Cloud computing. Is there a benefit of cloud computing? Okay, now you do need to be aware of the different cloud computing that you have. And if we say cloud computing, well, if you say cloud computing for 80, now, I do need you to be aware of this cloud computing solutions that the company can consider. One of the things you can think about is the company could have their own in-house system, and the board might be thinking of buying a completely different software solution. Well, remember, they do have an IT system as of now. They do have an IT system. Okay. Given that there was a box for IT system, I am inclined to possibly look at the company and saying, like, look, we do need to think about whether or not the company has an issue. So let's look at the IT system. Yeah. So internal information system adequate for purpose. The one that you see here holds data, name, contact info, financial details about season ticket holder and customer buying official replica kits online. 2 people. That's the 2 people you're holding data about. Question is whether AT has a website, its own app, and its accounts the longest established social media platform. So simply meaning that well, customer data and also their app. So their app might be something you have to look at. They have their own app already. So okay, that might be, app may need to be supported better, and AT may not have adequate resources to sustain the performance. Could be linked to app having issues with the fan or fan survey identifying weakness in app. So you might have data that says, look, we have a problem with the app. If you have a problem with the app, how do you solve the app problem? And this is where you may consider the use of cloud-based software as a solution. And the company says like, okay, we will probably use a different app, or we migrate it to a new app. So if you have that issue, you have to consider POP-IT as a possible answer. What are the changes that you're going to do and how you're going to handle the changes? So POP-IT is a possible model for you, given that information system is sitting there. Okay. Now, that covers, I repeat, that covers the area related to this part. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, these 3 articles, something could come out. Now, e-marketing is very possible given that they have a social media account. I'm not so worried about the 6I. I don't think they're going to ask you about this one. But they might ask you things like this. Explain how e-marketing might be used to grow the market share for ABC. That's possible. Evaluate the benefits of e-marketing, introduction of new business opportunity. Could be some new opportunity in terms of e-TV. So the idea here, one of the potential the company can consider is going to be, have a look at it. One of the potential this company can consider So you might move into streaming TV services. You can do it alone, you can partner with someone. Again, you can do it alone, you can partner with someone. If you partner with somebody, more likely, you're probably going to consider, are you going into a So if you move into streaming TV services, that's one of the areas. E-marketing would be a vital aspect of the solution. So if you have an e-marketing solution, okay, this is what's going to happen here. Evaluate the benefits of e-marketing in the introduction of new business opportunity. I would suggest, okay, the business opportunity being introduced regardless or not is not the aim of e-marketing. You are simply asked to discuss. You're you're simply being asked to discuss what extent e-marketing will be of benefit for this instance. So here you do have to remember this question. If you get a question like this and evaluate the benefits of e-marketing in the industry, how would the e-marketing help? So this is, you have to be careful, okay? Benefits, are there potential problem? This benefits with the suggestion. BRED is single initiative, launch a new business opportunity. Therefore, exhibits you need to assist with response are likely to be specifically related to the business opportunity. So if you get a business opportunity, it could be the launch of a new TV streaming channel. That's what is possible here, because that's not one of the incomes that's there right now. So if you look at the answer for this, I would suggest task 2. You can see task 2 is approached this way. Lends itself more clearly to structure of using 6I, but candidates should not discard additional headings. So there is integration, but there are other benefits you're looking at. So here we already know you are supposed to use 6I. Okay, that's basically what you are looking at. So you do need to be careful with this one. There is a potential assessment of whether you go into streaming. Remember, streaming. This is one of the issues that's already been identified in the pre-scene, that some of the clubs, the big three, remember the big three have streaming. So another one is evaluate the move into TV streaming, whether it's a good strategy or not. This one you have to do feasibility, acceptability, suitability. Now, do be aware, feasibility. Yeah, I think the TV is still going on. So, in terms of the idea that the TV channels will still be going on or off seasons, like when there's no matches. Okay, the TV channel here, I suppose they are just streaming, like Astro. You know, they have this special channel for football. They can sell the football channel. You know, you've noticed how they sell the football channel on certain times. Yes or no? That's how the TV deal works. That's not the same as streaming. Streaming is basically you streaming directly from your location or your site. Okay, so here you do need to think about whether or not you have the machines, your the video contents maybe already there, given that the company might have what you call drones that fly around. They might already have, I don't know, you have to see the case study, what they give you in the unseen material. But it is likely, I repeat, it is likely that you will have to consider these parts. Now, in terms of suitability, this is going to be so you may have certain issues in terms of feasibility, acceptability, suitability of going into TV streaming. Remember, TV streaming is the other way in which the company may consider increasing the revenue. TV streaming option is actually less risky than stadium. Stadium is a bigger risk but more payoff. TV streaming is lower risk and low payoff. So it's like high risk, high return, low risk, low return. And this might then, I just want to highlight, might then fall into something called just be aware, you may have to think about the risk profile and attitude influence the board decision. So you already know that there are two big decisions the AT club will have to make in the exam scenarios: either stadium, either TV clubs and all that. There is another one. We'll talk about that shortly after this. Now, last class, I did talk about the idea that the club itself may have a choice of either expanding its current stadium or improving its current stadium and building a new stadium. And that's exactly what is going on in the world of football. A lot of the clubs are deciding how to expand their current capacity, or they are trying to build a new stadium out. 60,000, 70,000 is the target number. 73,000 is already the biggest stadium on the board. Okay, this 38,000 is considered to be a small stadium. All right. Right. It looks like, if you ask me, there is only one club that has about 38,000, and if you look at 74,000, I just want to highlight this for you, that if you look at the data here, okay, when we say about 73,000, 74,000, we are looking, this remember, this club is very close to the size, I repeat, looks like Sheffield United in terms of capacity. Okay, they already added 5,400 seats recently. So it is possible they may want to add capacity. So that's one. So all of that is going to be something to do with risk itself. Okay, I'm just going to highlight that there is a risk profile. So you might have things like this coming out. You may have to consider this as possible issues in terms of risk. Okay, we did jump into this line, and if you do get a question on e-marketing, I believe it would probably be question number 2. Okay, explain how e-marketing may be used to grow the market. I don't think it's a market share issue. You really don't want to grow your market share. You can't really grow your market share because you kind of area, you have an area-based marketing. Location is very important for this business. So although they may have international fans don't come to the location. You have only usually the local people who support your club. So in this case, I don't think e-marketing is very critical for you in growing market share, but how the benefits of using e-marketing to introduce a new business opportunity is very likely for you. Okay, this is more likely for you than the other 3 tasks. So do get ready for this task. Okay, I think we have covered the major junction called technology and data analytics. Okay, we just touch a little bit on this part. In case the examiner do ask you about analytics, we don't need to talk about big data. We don't need to talk about the 5 V's here. We don't worry about the 5 V's. You may discuss the 5 V's. But you are probably going to talk more about this area. What are the descriptive analytics that you could get from the data? And then you might look at your margins and so forth. Okay, and you might have some predictive analytics coming up and also prescriptive analytics. Now, you can see in terms of exam question here, you would not be expected to carry out such analysis, remember, as shown above. This would normally be done by expert data analysts. Students studying SBL only need to be aware how big data and such techniques or analytics can be used in leading and managing the business more efficiently. So how you use big data is more important. Now, where do you have big data? The big data could be broken down into Right. I think you can look at big data this way. What are your major sources of big data, and how you can analyze them a bit better? Okay. You got match day big data, you got games big data, you got the social media big data, and you got online behavior big data. These are your main big data. Now, just want to highlight to you, like from social media, you can also see which players you're talking about, which games are anticipated to be major ones, and expectations of the fans. Now, however, because of social media, there was also a problem that came about some time back, where one of the player was attacked, racism or something like that came up, and there was a need for how to deal with that issue. Okay, so that's one thing I think you should be aware about. Um, remember the Moneyball game, the Moneyball movie. Okay, do get to watch it one time at least to see how that happens. Okay. Okay. Example. So they do some major analysis to figure out how much money. So you can use big data to do this. Remember, you can use big data to identify the players which are worthwhile and see whether or not it's worth investing in the player. So that's one of the idea that you're supposed to be clear about. Okay, that's one part.